What if one small reminder could change the way you carry this entire day? You've been thinking about the bills, the responsibilities, the uncertainty, and the endless list of things demanding your attention. You've been rushing from one concern to another, trying to hold everything together while your mind never seems to rest. Maybe you've been worried about your family. Maybe you've been worried about your health. Maybe you've been wondering how everything will work out, and without realizing it, worry has become your constant companion. But God wants to remind you of something today. You were never created to carry tomorrow's burdens before tomorrow arrives. You were never meant to live trapped inside endless what-ifs. There is a peace available to you right now, a peace that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, a peace that comes from seeing your life through God's perspective instead of your fears. And that perspective may change everything. Life has a way of filling your mind with concerns before your feet even touch the floor in the morning. You wake up thinking about unfinished tasks, unanswered questions, responsibilities waiting for your attention, and situations you cannot control. Sometimes it feels as if your mind never truly rests, even during quiet moments. Your thoughts keep moving. You replay conversations. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You try to solve problems that haven't even happened yet. And little by little, worry begins stealing the joy from ordinary moments. You may be sitting with family while your mind is somewhere else. You may be driving to work while carrying a weight nobody else can see. You may smile, laugh, and continue with your daily routine. Yet inside you feel tired from constantly trying to anticipate what might go wrong. God understands that struggle. He sees the pressure you place on yourself. He sees how deeply you care. He sees your desire to protect the people you love and make wise decisions. But he also sees how worry has slowly convinced you that everything depends on your strength alone. Perhaps you've become so used to carrying these burdens that you hardly notice them anymore. They've become part of your routine, part of your thoughts, part of your identity. But God never intended for worry to become the loudest voice in your life, because worry always asks, what if things fall apart? Faith asks, what if God is already working behind the scenes? Worry focuses on what might happen tomorrow. Faith helps you see what God is doing today. And maybe this gentle reminder is exactly what your heart needs right now. You do not have to have every answer. You do not have to predict every outcome. You do not have to solve every problem before it appears. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to trust that God is holding together the pieces you cannot control. And perhaps that changes more than you realize, because peace doesn't come from knowing everything. Peace comes from knowing the one who already does. Right in the middle of your busy schedule, your unanswered questions, and your endless responsibilities, God is still present. He has not stepped away because life became complicated. He has not become distant because your mind feels overwhelmed. He is still near, closer than your worries, closer than your fears, closer than the thoughts that keep you awake at night. God sees the moments when your heart feels heavy for reasons you can't fully explain. He sees the quiet pressure you carry to keep going, to stay strong, and to take care of everyone around you. He sees the hidden exhaustion behind your smile. He sees the concerns you rarely speak out loud. And he understands. God never expected you to navigate every challenge alone. He never intended for anxiety to become the voice guiding your decisions. His presence is an invitation to pause, to breathe deeply, to loosen your grip on the things you cannot control, to remember that your future is not resting on your shoulders alone. Even now, while your thoughts race ahead to tomorrow, God is already there. He is already working in situations you cannot see, already preparing answers you have not yet received, already creating paths you do not yet recognize. You may not understand everything happening around you. You may not know how every problem will be resolved. But you can know this: God is faithful. He has carried you through difficult seasons before. He has sustained you in moments when you thought you had reached your limit, and He will continue to walk beside you now. Perhaps today's gentle reminder is simply this: you don't have to carry what God is willing to hold for you. You don't have to spend today worrying about a tomorrow that has not arrived. You don't have to live trapped in endless uncertainty. You can rest in the confidence that God is still leading, still providing, and still caring for every detail of your life. And when you remember that, peace begins to return, not because every circumstance changes instantly, but because your perspective changes. You stop seeing yourself alone in the struggle, and you begin seeing yourself safely held in the hands of a God who never stops watching over you. One of the greatest struggles we face is not what happens around us, but what happens within us. It's the battle for our attention, the battle for our thoughts, the battle for what we choose to believe. Worry has a quiet way of entering our lives. It doesn't arrive all at once. It slips in little by little. One concern becomes two concerns become 10. Before long, your mind feels crowded with responsibilities, fears, and endless possibilities of what could go wrong. Worry promises control. It tells you that if you think about a problem long enough, you'll somehow prevent it from happening. It convinces you that carrying the burden proves you care. But the truth is, worry rarely solves anything. Instead, it steals your peace. It drains your energy. It keeps your heart focused on problems instead of possibilities. And perhaps you've experienced this more than once. You've spent hours thinking about situations that never happened. You've lost sleep over conversations that never took place. You've carried fears that never became reality. Meanwhile, precious moments passed by unnoticed. Moments that could have been filled with gratitude, with joy, with rest, with connection. This is the invisible battle many people never talk about. The struggle to remain present when the mind constantly wants to run ahead. The struggle to trust when uncertainty feels overwhelming. The struggle to believe that God is working, even when nothing appears to be changing. Yet this is where faith becomes powerful. Faith is not pretending problems don't exist. Faith is choosing not to give problems more authority than God. Faith is remembering that your circumstances may be uncertain, but God's character is not. His love remains constant. His presence remains steady. His promises remain true. And perhaps that's the perspective shift you need today. Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" ask yourself, "What if God is already taking care of things I cannot see? What if the answers are already unfolding? What if the delays are serving a purpose? What if this very season is teaching you how to trust more deeply than ever before?" Because peace does not come from controlling every detail. Peace comes from releasing the need to control what belongs in God's hands. And when you do that, something beautiful begins to happen. The pressure starts to lift. The fear loses its grip. The constant tension begins to fade. You begin to notice blessings you once overlooked. You begin to appreciate moments you once rushed through. You begin to experience life differently. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because your heart is no longer carrying burdens it was never meant to bear. And perhaps today, that is the gentle reminder God wants you to receive. You don't have to fight tomorrow's battles today. You only need enough grace for this moment, and God has already provided it. What if peace has been closer than you think all along? Not hidden in a future where every problem is solved, not waiting for the perfect circumstances, not depending on a life without challenges, but available to you right now, in this moment, in this ordinary day, in the middle of unfinished tasks, unanswered prayers, and uncertain situations. Perhaps the greatest shift doesn't happen around you. Perhaps it happens within you. The moment you stop asking, "How can I control everything?" and begin asking, "How can I trust God more deeply today?" Because faith changes perspective. It reminds you that your life is bigger than today's worries, bigger than today's stress, bigger than today's uncertainty. Faith allows you to see that God has already carried you through seasons you once believed would break you. Think about all the things you worried about years ago. Many of them never happened. Others did happen. But God gave you the strength to overcome them. You survived difficult days. You found wisdom in painful seasons. You discovered resilience you didn't know you possessed. And if God was faithful then, He will be faithful now. This gentle reminder isn't asking you to ignore reality. It's inviting you to see reality through a different lens. A lens filled with hope instead of fear, trust instead of anxiety, confidence instead of constant pressure. Because when you begin to trust God's perspective, your heart finds room to breathe again. You stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. You stop measuring your life by everything that still feels uncertain. You begin noticing small blessings, a quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a moment of laughter, a beautiful sunset, a sense of calm you haven't felt in a long time. These moments remind you that life is not only about solving problems, it's also about experiencing the goodness God places before you every single day. And perhaps that's what changes everything. You realize that peace isn't found at the end of the journey. Peace is discovered while walking through it, one day at a time, one prayer at a time, one act of trust at a time. And today can be the beginning of that shift. A shift from striving to trusting, from worrying to believing, from carrying everything alone to allowing God to carry what was never yours to hold. Because a new perspective rooted in faith doesn't remove every challenge, but it transforms the way you live through them. And in that transformation, peace quietly returns. You are more than your worries, more than the thoughts that keep circling through your mind, more than the responsibilities you carry each day, more than the pressure you feel to have everything figured out somewhere along the way. Many people begin to believe that their value is connected to how much they accomplish, how well they perform, or how successfully they manage every challenge that comes their way. They begin to feel responsible for holding everything together, responsible for making every outcome work, responsible for fixing every problem. And when life becomes difficult, they quietly blame themselves. They wonder if they are doing enough, trying hard enough, believing enough, praying enough. But God never defined your worth by your ability to control life. Your identity has never been rooted in perfection. It has always been rooted in being loved, being known, being seen, being cared for by a God who understands every fear, every concern, and every burden hidden within your heart, even on days when you feel overwhelmed. Your value remains unchanged. Even when your plans don't unfold as expected, your purpose remains intact. Even when uncertainty surrounds you, you are still deeply loved. God does not see you as a collection of unfinished tasks or unresolved problems. He sees a person with a tender heart, a person who has continued moving forward despite challenges, a person who keeps trying, keeps hoping, and keeps believing, even when life feels heavy. That matters more than you realize, because your identity is not found in your anxiety. It is not found in your fears about the future. It is not found in the expectations others place upon you. Your identity is found in the truth that you belong to God, and belonging changes everything. It means you do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to earn His care. You do not have to carry the impossible weight of being enough for everyone. You are already enough in His eyes, not because you never struggle, not because you never worry, but because His love has never depended on your ability to have everything together. So today, release the pressure to be perfect. Release the need to predict every outcome. Release the belief that peace can only come after every problem is solved. Allow yourself to rest in a different truth. You are held. You are guided. You are valued. You are loved. And even in the middle of ordinary days filled with ordinary worries, God continues to remind you that your heart was created for peace, not constant fear. Perhaps this gentle reminder is exactly what you needed today. Not to become someone different, but to remember who you have been all along, a person deeply loved by God. Walking through life one faithful step at a time. Imagine beginning your day with a different perspective. Instead of waking up immediately overwhelmed by everything that could go wrong, you wake up remembering that God is already present in everything that lies ahead. The challenges may still exist, the responsibilities may still be waiting, the unanswered questions may still remain, but something inside you has changed. You no longer approach the day from a place of fear. You approach it from a place of trust. You begin to understand that peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the confidence that you do not face those problems alone, and that realization transforms the way you live. You become more present, more grateful, more aware of the blessings surrounding you. You notice the kindness of others. You appreciate simple moments. You find joy in places where worry once stole your attention. Slowly, your heart learns to rest again, not because life becomes easier overnight, but because faith gives you permission to stop carrying burdens that belong to God. You discover that every day does not have to be perfect to be meaningful. Every season does not have to make sense to have purpose. Every unanswered question does not need an immediate solution. Sometimes breakthrough arrives as a quiet change in perspective, a realization that God's faithfulness has been with you all along, a recognition that even difficult seasons have shaped you, strengthened you, and taught you to trust more deeply. And when you begin seeing life through that lens, hope returns. Not a temporary hope based on circumstances, but a steady hope rooted in God's character, a hope that reminds you that tomorrow holds possibilities you cannot yet imagine, a hope that encourages you to keep moving forward, even when the path ahead feels uncertain, because faith teaches us something beautiful. The future is not something to fear, it is something to place in God's hands. And when you do, your heart becomes lighter, your thoughts become calmer, your spirit becomes stronger. You begin to experience a kind of peace that the world cannot provide, a peace that remains through challenges, a peace that remains through uncertainty, a peace that reminds you, again and again, that God is still guiding your steps. And perhaps that is the breakthrough you need today. Not a different life, but a different way of seeing the life you already have. A perspective rooted in faith, a perspective that brings peace, a perspective that may truly change your entire day. As this day unfolds before you, may your heart remember what worry so often makes you forget. You do not have to carry every burden. You do not have to solve every problem. You do not have to know exactly what tomorrow holds. God is already there. He is present in the uncertainty. He is present in the waiting. He is present in the ordinary moments that often pass unnoticed. So breathe deeply today. Slow down. Release what you cannot control. Trust that the God who has carried you this far will continue to guide your steps. May peace quiet your anxious thoughts. May hope replace your fears. May faith become stronger than your worries. And may this gentle reminder stay with you throughout the day. You are loved. You are held. You are never alone. And with God beside you, even an ordinary day can become filled with extraordinary peace.